Hello, everybody. Welcome to your Friday episode of Light Bite. This is going to be something a bit different than usual, but let's start, as I always forget, with some introductions. My name is Cennamo-Smith. I am an author of fantasy, crime, and some other peculiar little bits and bobs. If that's your sort of thing, there's some links below in the description. There's a Patreon, there's some books available, there's a website, there's the whole shebang. I do a lot. So, what we're doing today, normally this would be my little lunch break after a busy week of doing hectic and chaotic stuff and trying to keep everything afloat. But strangely and annoyingly, I was finding that taking that hour off every week was hampering getting things done, which is the kind of the point, but it was causing me some frustration and anxiety, and I didn't like that. So, we're going to change this up. Light Bite is probably no longer going to be a weekly thing. It might switch to being every 2 weeks or once a month. I haven't decided yet, but it might end up being more work focused or occasionally game focused. We'll see. But today, we're doing something very, very different, which is we're gonna start making a book cover. For those of you who have enjoyed my current series, you know I've got the Morsels Lost and Found, the 3-part book 4 coming in July this year. Fantasy crime series, which is a lot of fun, a lot of good. If you've ever seen those or ever bought those, all of the artwork is me. I designed the covers, I designed the maps, it's all kind of me. I'm not much of an illustrator, as you can see by this fantastic display in front of you, and I'll get into more of this in a moment. This is, yeah, so like I said, I'm not much of an illustrator. What I am, and what I am trained in, what my degrees are in 3D animation and digital media. Basically, what that means is I am technically speaking, a 3D artist and animator who has then devolved into writing, because it's fun, and I like writing, and you get to control more. Who knows? I enjoy writing, and it's always a thing I've enjoyed. I just never thought you could make a career out of it, and lo and behold, look what I do now. Anyway, so I have below. For the various links, I have the Morsels Lost and Found series. I also have a monthly episodic series called the Rat Kings of London, which is coming to a close soon. February's kind of gotten away from me. Normally there's an episode every month. February has completely gotten away from me. The fact that it's almost over has confused me to no end. So this month's episode was missed because of life and busy things and so much going on. So next month there will be 2 episodes. There'll be a double drop because I'm just waiting for some things to be checked, and I need to finish writing next month's episode. But that is coming to a close, and it is almost done for. So what that means is I need to start something new. I'm not struggling to think of what to start new because I've got the next story ready. I've got it lined up. I've got the plot points out. I've even got an episode list, so I know exactly how long this is going to be. He says now. So I'm not going to give it too much away because I want you to read it. We'll see, but yeah, I design all the artwork myself, and I have been looking for some artists this week to see to try and lighten my workload, but didn't really find anything that suited the style I was going for. Yeah, so lo and behold, taking care of it myself, and we're going to do that today. So, you might be wondering what this is in front of you on your screen, because this is not a video game, and this is not Photoshop. What this is Cinema 4D. It is basically Blender if Blender was more expensive. Or cost anything at all. Now, like I say, I am a 3D artist. This is a software I've been using for, how old am I? Nearly 20 years. I've been using this for a long time. I started using this on with Cinema 4D R10. This is R21. I don't know what iteration they're at to currently because I've not bought the update in a while. It's very expensive. But yeah, this does pretty much everything I need. So what we're going to do today is we're going to start working on a book cover. So the theme for this one, I am switching away. It's not going to be it's not a crime fantasy series. So it's not set in a fantastical world. To a degree, it's not set in a real world. It's still all made up. But yeah, this is not a world of dragons and orcs and elves. This is not a period drama set under the streets of London. This is a 1950s noir crime series. So I want a cover that reflects that kind of gritty darkness of it all. So we're going to go with that. So what do we start with first? So I've got my program. There's not going to do much. What we need is some reference, and down here I've got a load of reference images of what I'm looking for. So let's load up some of these. So you might be able to tell just by looking at these photos. These are all taken from Google. I claim no owner on any of these. Yeah, these are all what I found when Googling dingy alleyways, because what says noir crime more than dingy alleyways other than corrupt cops and cigar smoking and Vegas showgirls? But it's not that kind of thing. I don't do spice. So, yeah, it's not my kind of thing. I don't see. There's loads of those books. If you wanted that sort of thing, there's loads of those around there. I do something a bit different. So these are going to be my reference images, most of which I'm going to pop some of these over here on a second screen. I should have, yeah, I'm going to set these up as much as I can, so I've got a little bit of reference going on over here. I'm going to try and not cover chat, because that would be bad. I need to see chat in case anyone turns up. That happened before. What else I have here is I am a more practical person. So what I found, come here, is I went onto Google Maps and I found an alley I liked the look of for more reference. So I say hello to whoever you are. Hello, nice to see you. Thank you for being part of this stream. So yeah, is that the same image twice? It is. So there we go. So yeah, I switched up through these. So if you want to visit Artillery Passage, this is what it. That's not Artillery Passage. Where's that? Wedgeford Gate Street. What? Widegate Street. You can see in England we name things very well. So yeah, Artillery Passages is where we are. You can get some bubble tea. You can get some noodles. This is making me hungry. Oh, it's in Spitalfields. Nice. And Artillery Passage, of course, leads on to Artillery Lane. Either way, okay. So this is what I'm going to be using as my base setup, because again, it makes it easier for me to keep track of what I'm doing and how everything should be laid out. But what it also does is gives me a nice kind of area to work with, to set this up more like a photograph, which is again another way that I like to work. So what we're going to start with is let's start with a plane. I'm going to make it nice and easy. A plane, you might ask. Why bother with the plane? Because I need a little layout. So what I have here is my texture. This is not going to be a tutorial by any means, because I don't think I'm good enough to start giving people advice on how to do 3D art. I've been doing it for a while. I tapped a button. Okay. Hello. Something odd happened there. Let's try not to let that happen again. Just to check if it's not. But okay. Yeah, that's kind of thrown me for a loop. Anyway, so yeah, yeah, I don't know where that cut off. So let me say again, there. This is not going to be a tutorial by any stretch of the imagination. I don't claim to be good enough at this to give you a tutorial, but it's kind of a guide of how I work at the very least. I did used to be a trainer for this software for companies. That's how I actually got one of my jobs. I trained their staff on how to use the software, and after which they decided it would be cheap, instead of having to reassign people to do this job, it would be better to hire somebody who already could do it. So that's how I got one of my first jobs, which was fun. This is kind of good. I liked it. It was alright. Yeah. other credentials if you're curious for them. I have worked for 3D design companies. I've worked in advertising. I have worked for an animation studio. I've kind of jumped all around. I don't have a set skill set, as it were, which both is probably good for me and bad for me because I don't specialize in anything. And a lot of people need somebody who specializes, and I kind of tend to do everything because I was taught to do everything. Right. So what I'm doing here is I like to switch around in the views, and what this little tag does is lets me keep it looking like this in every view, because if I didn't have this tag, it would turn into that, which is not as exciting to look at. So I also like working in a different setup, so I like working for everything to be crunchy. So I say crunchy, blocky. So if I leave it as it were, sandy, you got some nice shading here on the curves, and that's all right. I'm not a big fan of that. That kind of distracts me. I like everything to be kind of flat and grey. So let's start off with laying out some buildings. It's really kind of all this comes down to is laying everything out the way you like it. Let's keep everything at ground level, shall we? There we go. Drop down to floor level. This reminds me of a very, very cool animation. I can't remember the name. I think it's called World Builder or something like that. It's a very good animation. I would highly recommend that. But yeah, I think what I'm going to go for is a kind of a low angle sort of from down here. So you're going to see some buildings. It's going to do more of a wide shot. I'll deal with messing with camera settings later, and this is probably not going to be the only one of these streams. And we can just design this whole thing together. It should be fun that way. So it's gonna. So what I need is enough to give me some shadows and backgrounds so that the light doesn't creep in where it shouldn't be, and also gives me something to kind of fill into the middle distance. I'm going to put some. I'm not going to follow this. There's going to be some like tall skyscraper buildings over here. I have an idea of what I want. I have done an initial sketch. It's not great, like I said. I'm not an illustrator or a designer by any stretch of the imagination, but I enjoy it, which more for me, I guess. Da da da. That's where are you? You're almost like I keep flicking back. Yeah, pretty much. For anyone who's curious, that is kind of like what we're looking for here. This kind of dringy up and down, and you even got a peek of the title there. If anyone can read my poor handwriting. So again, the way I work on this is I will do the majority of the design here in Cinema 4D, and I go down here and rename a few things in a moment as well, because renaming things is important. Anybody who's worked on Photoshop and has had to pick up somebody else's design where they don't label their layers. Oh, ooh. Death by firing squad. How dare thee? So again, layout. You notice I'm not going all the way to the end. I'm filling up just enough to kind of cover what we need. I'm not doing all this side street. I'm not going to do the back of the building. There's going to be no detail there at all. I may not even keep any of these. But here's the thing: if I don't have them in the first place, there's nothing to build off of. So this is a case of this is like doing your sketch lines before your inking. For anybody who is more artily inclined. There's not much of a gap between them, and doesn't matter about. I was very tempted to fill in the shape there, but no, that's not what we're doing here. No. You may notice I'm switching back and forth through various tools with keys because I find it easier than scrolling up most of the time. Let's do one nice long building there. And that's going to be, I'll lower you nicely down there, select you, pull you back, and there we go. Okay, so that's the first street done. I'm going to steal you again. Let's flatten you out. What is going on with this software? Again, I just looked at it and suddenly I'm muted. Oh my days. I think I need to turn off my hotkeys. What is... Okay, I'm going to go press enter. Right, that's not doing anything. I'm just tap. Am I really? I need to... Or is there a... No. Okay. Oh, no, no. Right, okay. I'm going to try and keep better... Oh, a better eye on what my software is doing. So, apologies for whatever was missed. I might go back and try and go over the audio in this to try and cover or give some textual context. So, right, let's first off, let's order up our building. So we're going to go, this is the north side, so we go one, two, I'm going to select all the ones on the north, pull them over here, let's group them together, call north side. Right, no, let's go, so I want to go west to east, so let's go and name them all. Oh, hello Fles Flame. Nice to see you again. How are you doing? Oh, yeah, these times we are suddenly really tired. Yep, I just slept 3 hours for no reason. Lucky you. I have insomnia. That doesn't happen. I have no reason to fall asleep for 3 hours and no actual desire to, which is annoying. Alright, so let's do some housekeeping. Building. It's going to be as simple as that, and I'm going to go back and I'm going to learn to spell building first of all. And leave a space there just to keep it easy. And just literally going to go down and go 1, 2, and just going to check, keeping pushing buttons and make sure that I don't randomly get muted again, because I don't know why my software's being funny today. It's switching through screens and muting me, and I don't know what's going on. So I'm going to try and keep a better eye on that. What are you doing? Today I'm making a book cover. Bit different. So I hope this is a bit more enjoyable for you. Because it's not going to be not gaming today, keeping things a bit looser. So yeah, been looking for cover artists and couldn't find one that suited the style I was looking for, so doing it myself, and you're doing it with me now. Haha! I tricked you. You're stuck here now. Yeah. There we go. Okay, that's all in order. Let's connect them together. If you've got any questions, feel free to hammer them down. Like I said earlier in the stream, I am by no means qualified to be a teacher in this, even though I used to train people how to use this program. But yeah, I'm happy to give any kind of advice or guide or say anything. You know me, I will talk until the cows come. Ooh, no. Work. I say I'm constantly checking back and forth now between what I'm doing and what's happening on my software, because I no longer trust the software. If I go muted, I can see you bobbing in the corner of my screen now, so if I go muted, I'm going to just keep an eye, so just shout at me and say I can't hear you, you colossal noob, and I'll take care of that as much as I can. I don't like those tags. Tags take up too much space, so I do need the fonts. Right, okay, so we got buildings. We've got a base structure. What this is a lovely little street in London called Artillery Passage, which I'll be using as the guideline for my buildings. And let's just make them a bit taller. And let's randomly make some. Let's just alter them over. I don't know if it's going to make any difference in the long run of this, but you never know. I want those two to be a bit taller because they need to cast more shadow down that passage. That's going to go up, and this one is definitely going to go down because these corner buildings tend to be like that. Okay, so that is what we have now. You can't make a book cover if your life depended on it. Then let's hope your life never depends on it. Please, we can't lose you. You're the only one that chats. And again, don't necessarily need to, but if you can't find anybody to do what you need and you're desperate for a book cover, you might find you need to. Right. Now, here's going to be the annoying thing. I want to see how this is going to look, but if I change my setup to, I'm gonna forget what those numbers are, so I'm just going to quickly take a screenshot for myself and pop that over there. So if I change this to book dimensions, which is 5.5 inches by 8.5, that does this, which is helpful, but I can't work in this ratio. If I find it very confusing, but I also can't just set up another window that's going to look like this. This is fun though. All right, so yeah, let's. Ooh. Okay, so yeah, we're back to normal. That's great. Did everything go back? It did. Haha, huzzah! I can get rid of that. I can make early colours, and that's a mask accent. Practice makes perfect. How long? Because then again, here's the question: how long have you been drawing or trying to make cover art? Because as I said earlier, I have been using this software for over 2 decades, nearly. So it all depends on how long you've been doing the thing. Let's lift that up by 1. Is that enough for a curve? Now let's make it. There we go. That's better. Right. Okay. So what we can. So I'm going to now make a very rough kind of ground level. How gritty do I want to get? So let's have a look at some references again. What are we sticking with? What we got? So yeah, I want this kind of like curb kind of thing. It's Adobe stock there. Adobe stock, probably one of their lovely new AI things. I'm very disappointed with Adobe for implementing AI text generation into their software. Yeah, there's a lot of things I hate about Adobe. One of them is their monthly subscription. One of them is advertising text-based AI, and I don't like that. That kind of defeats the entire point of Photoshop if you can just type it in and get it to do it for you. So what do we need? All right, so we got our buildings. Let's turn off the buildings so that we're not too crowded now. Ah, they're gone. Muted again. Oh, why? What happened? What did I push? You know what? I'm going to do this the old-fashioned way. Can I turn off all my hotkeys? What hotkey mutes me? Mute and unmute is fine there. That's already mute. Okay, none of my hotkeys are set to mute. Software. I need to get right. Do I need one of those little Stream Deck and just some buttons so I have volume on, volume off? Whiskey, whiskey. No, that didn't do it. Okay, doing path. Oh, interesting. No, what do we want? Which knife do I want? I want plain NJ KJ. Worlds. No, we don't want YZ. What do we want? We want Y. No, we do want YZ, but not YX. Let's cut that down there and cut that down there. So this now comes that way. Let's just loop cut there and loop cut there. Keep it. I'm still just going to glance back and forth now to make sure I'm not muted because I'm getting paranoid about it now. Okay. Again, good enough as a base. Still not muted. Yeah. Not sure where it cut me off, so I'll go back and say I understand that AI is probably inevitable and there's not much that can be done about it. However, I think we need to really be thinking about how and why we're using it, because if the people benefiting from AI are not the people that need to benefit, then that is a problem. Because again, like with the MD, that's the button. Yeah, like with the whole Writers Guild thing, where studios who are already making absolute fortunes want to use AI so they don't have to pay extras. That's a bad thing. If studios want to use AI so they don't have to pay their writers, that's a bad thing. Just again, what is going on? What in the actual hell is wrong with my software today? Right, let's create a hotkey to mute. Maybe that will fix everything. No, don't use that key. Right, let's delete. Why can't I delete? Oh, cancel. Let's cancel. I'm going to do some tech. I'm going to do some on-the-fly hotkey editing. Mute. Can I? Right, now. Nothing should mute me. Save changes. Let's see if that fixes things. Or is it every time I'm saying the words AI being cancelled by YouTube? No, everything seems to be going right. I've lost where I was entirely in that conversation. Oh, there we go. Right. So why are you connecting there? Why aren't you doing what I want you to? There we go. Shouldn't but people just read it. There's also that, yes. But we can always guarantee the foolishness of the masses, the vox populi, as it were. Without getting political, please note current state of the US. I say without getting, there's no way to take that non-politically, but when I actually opened up Google Maps just out of pure curiosity and saw that the Gulf of Mexico is now labelled as the Gulf of America, oh my days, that was some nonsense. Right, so we now need to, let's line up this path that's going to be the alleyway with the buildings, because that ain't right. Let's turn off you just for a moment so I can closer see, line everything up. Can I do that there? Yeah, kind of. Right. I need loads of cuts very quickly. I'm either a butcher or anyway. Sorry, that was dark. Actually making a book tutorial. Yeah, that is ridiculous. No, if you want to write, then write. If you can't write, find another career. That's it. I will never. It's a pledge. I will never use AI to write my books for me. So I don't use Grammarly. I use spell check because that's built in, and my spelling is actually apocryphal. But that's more down to me not being good at spelling than anything else. I say I will not use AI to generate covers because that would have saved me a pretty penny and a lot of time. But as you can see, I am saving neither penny nor time. Well, I'm saving penny to a degree, but then again, I already bought this software. So, alright, okay, that's kind of a nice layout there. Let's lower that a little bit, let's have more of a drop. Okay, right, so we now have our base set up. And again, you may be wondering why I'm bothering to go through all this. This is going to be effectively my sketch that I then go into Photoshop and go over the top of. But I want to get as much detail in as I can. So let's see, what do we got here? Let's go back and look at my references. So there's some bins. Bins would be good. Not. This is very rarely see street. Let's just in some bins. I think some of these nice pipes that are going to look nice and gritty. Then at some point I've got some rubbish that I can throw. And this was what was going to be the title page for this stream, but I decided to take a photo instead. So let's make a rudimentary bin, so we can start lining them up there, and start something now for something entirely new. Ooh. There we go. NBNF. There we go. Keep me bin over there. I'm not muted anymore. No, I'm not. Huzzah. Right. I need to edit some things maybe. No, don't need to save. I'm not doing anything. I need to look at a bin. How do you think when I was making sorts of fun, I like seeing what the other that's right into, but writing a proper book with ChatGPT is acceptable. Agreed. Okay, yeah. For a bit of fun, fine. Great, have fun. Profiteering, I disagree entirely. No, it's if you're going to be doing something to make money out of it, you should be putting the effort in. And no offense, typing in a plot line into a book, typing out a plot line into an AI generator and getting it to do all of the hard work for you is not writing. Anybody who thinks that is writing is a word I can't say on YouTube without getting banned or demonetized. Might be worth it. Debatable. Okay, this is kind of rudimentary. What have we got? So it's just again, this doesn't need to look good. This just needs to be a base because we are all about that base. No. There we go. I remember hotkeys. We'll limit that angle to 50 mil. Let's give it a bit of a curve. There we go. What does a bin need? A bin needs wheels. Any stories I make? Any of the stories it made were so trash. Yeah. How does someone see that and think it's the new Lord of the Rings? I once heard someone say that the Bruno Mars song Uptown was this generation's Bohemian Rhapsody, so that's the level of intelligence we could be working with. I'm not saying it's not a good song, but Bohemian Rhapsody is a masterpiece. There is no denying that. So, again, never trust the Vox Populi. Right. Making a wheel. Pretty. That's too many polygons. There we go. Uptown Funk You Up. Uptown Funk You Up. Oh, that's going to be in my head now, isn't it? No, don't do that to me, brain. Please don't do that to me. Yeah. And to be fair, we don't need a new Lord of the Rings. The old Lord of the Rings is still great, and if you don't agree, I advise you go back and watch 14 hours of it. The Hobbit movies, fair enough. Those are questionable. I didn't hate them. But then again, I've also actually never read the Hobbit series, or the Hobbit book rather, because Tolkien is dull. I mean, he's impressive. Don't get me wrong. Oh no, what are you doing? No, you're not doing anything wrong. I'm pushing the wrong buttons. I think I might be working at too big a scale here. Let's make my life a bit easier. Let's scale it all back to my. I can hear my veins every time it hits. Fair enough. Fair enough. Ugh. Yeah, no, can't argue with that. That's. We want all of that to go in here. What I'm doing now is basically I want to scale it all down to the same point. 50 a bit enough. That might be a bit too much. I'm using now this for scale, and I think I've gone too high with the buildings. So let's crush them down a little bit all together now. Maybe a bit bigger. So there we go. We're gonna go wheelie bin. We're gonna go, no, it's not a wheelie bin, is it? Dumpster. That's what those things are called. So let's right. I think before we decide how we're going to do this, I need to set up a camera point. So let's set up the camera. I want it to still be the city. I'm going to do it this way. All right, where's my camera? Okay. Okay, we're looking at this. Yeah, looking that way. So we want camera to come somewhere down here. We want it to be low. I want a low, kind of from the gutter kind of shot. And then I want to, oh, no, keeping that in place. I want to look up to the side. There we go. I have my book now, and like any sort of writing writer, I need to let it sit for a day because my brain hates it when new chapters. It hates it my new chapters every day. Fair enough. Yeah. I have. I say this week. I don't know. I don't even know what week it is. Where am I? What day is it? It's the 21st. So yeah. Last Monday, I sent off my the final draft of book 4 to my editor, who is absolutely amazing, and I love her, and she's great, and I will sing her praises until the end of time, because she's awesome. And yeah, so she's got that in hand and is making it better and picking up all of my god awful spelling errors, and fingers crossed making it more like that. There we go. I'm going to lock that angle, he says, but that now gives us a point of reference for where we put things. Yeah, so yeah, she's my book is now in safe hands, and I should hopefully see it again at some point. Hopefully looking better than when I left it. Huh? You curb. Right, we can come out of this now. We can. Okay. Let's move south side a little bit that way. Give us just a wee bit more space. Maybe rotate it. Oh no, too far. It's curved, but the moment I close my book, my brain starts ending being a critic. That doesn't make sense. Yeah. Again, it's hard trying to, because you want it to be, you obviously want it to be good, and then you don't. I always say if it gets to the point where you're happy with it and you can find at least one other person, I find a beta reader or a friend to have a look at it and go, yeah, that's good, then that's where you stop editing and changing, unless there's like I say severe, unless there's some serious like editorial errors or spelling mistakes or plot holes. Don't go back and edit it. Leave it as it is. Because you can literally edit forever and get to the point where you never release it. I have a friend who's been working on a romance novel for a few years now, I think. She wants to go traditional route, which is fair enough, to each their own, but again, it can last. You can keep it going for absolute years and do nothing about it. Whereas, again, with mine, I wrote seven drafts of the first one. It took me just over a year to write it all and get it all edited. And yeah, I don't know if I would say it's great. I like it. I like the characters. It's encouraged me to write 4 more of them, and after doing this, I'm going off to write to carry on working on the 5th, as well as some other stuff. But the general consensus from people that have read it is that it's great. So I can't argue. Again, as long as one person, if you use expanded population, if you can find one person that likes it, then you're probably going to find a few hundred people that like it. They just have to get to it, and that's when advertising becomes a pain. But hey ho! I'm going to check, am I muted again? No, I'm not muted. Everything seems to be working since I turned everything off. Right, okay, so there we go, we've got our dumpsters. Again, I think I do need now to switch back to, and I so wish I could just set this separately, only for this camera. Because yeah, that doesn't look great now. There we go. Okay, let's maybe. Do I want wide angle? No. Super wide? No, that's I'm going the wrong way. Classic. Normal. That kind of works. That kind of works. What else can we do here? Let's remove that. Let's get doing. Yeah, you can only see. Where's the project settings? Referencing university. Oh, there it is. Default order color. No. There is a setting in here somewhere which lets me change how dark these lines are, because this bit here is where it cuts off, where the camera's not seeing it anymore. So in order to kind of keep track of that a little better, I want to. Oh, no, yeah, that should be okay, which now means I need to move my dumpsters. I need to move my trash fire of a life further down here. Just make an instance, it'll save me rendering time. Any changes I make will be locked in place too. Oh. I saw it get retracted, so this time I'm actually paying. What genre is the book? This one that I'm working on right now is a noir crime thriller. Or, yeah, noir crime kind of. Yeah, that sort of vibe. I'm not liking that angle now. It looks too. Maybe it's the camera. Maybe we need to go back to classic. Or normal lens. No. Classic, you're going too far. Telly. Oh, telly might be the one. Telly might be the one. Learning camera. So yeah, this book is. Ooh, no, we don't do it like that. Oh, we have done it like that. Oh dear. Pulled it back too far. Right, let's come back up. There we go. So much twist. Maybe we need to move it. The camera. Now we can move it this way a little bit. So we're looking more up, twisting, or looking, pulling back just enough. Too much floor. There we go. That's a good angle to get. So yeah, when this is all finished, put those closer into the shot. There we go. When this does finish, it's going to look a bit more gringy, a bit more grimy. There's going to be a silhouetted figure there. There's going to be a city in the background. So like I say, a lot of this that I did over there, not going to be used or not going to be seen. However, what it's going to do is give shadow and depth and background to it. If it gets into that, if we can, just for the sake of getting things in place. Where has that gone? Where are you? Where are you? Where? I clicked on you. Come here. Or has that muted me? No, that's not me. I was saying I'm paranoid about getting muted now. Huzzah. So yeah, we got little silhouette man. He's too small. Actually, let's put him next to the. We're gonna go dumpster for scale. It's the new 9 guy. Okay, dumpsters. People are. That should be fine. Let's pop you over here. Silhouetted figure. So we can use him as a reference for the time being. Alright, let's keep you in place as well, just for giggles. Oh, crunch. And just to kind of get something out there. Here's going to be a little cheat. Let's go away from you. So I want enough there to look like a city. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to use. Switch those, lift up the floor so it's on ground level. I'm going to make you significantly taller. But make sure you can, yeah. That should be alright. Move your hand, and now we're going to do what's called cloning, which is fun. Let's do a grid array. Let's spread this out. So what I'm doing here is effectively I'm making multiple copies of the same building. Of the same thing. Actually, let's pop it out. Pop it out there. We need more than. We just need a few more. I don't need any vertically because that's going to get confusing. So if we get 5 and 5 that way, and then what we do is we hit this button here, which randomizes things. We want to not do so much on that angle, but what we really want it to do is we're going to increase it by 0.5 there, 2 there, and 0.5. Oh, that might be a bit much. Increase it by 1, and then we can mess with what these settings are. So make it look a bit more populated, and there we go. We have more of a city looming in the background. I want a bit more. Yeah. Stretch out. Now just keep tweaking until we're happy with it. Maybe I can even stick another building in there somewhere. No, that doesn't. 6 by you, 5 by you, and let's just tweak the random seed until we. Again, you could argue this bit is AI, but what this is more random number generation until we find something we like. or I find something I like rather. You might need to see again. It's just a lot of playing around until you find something that works. Maybe even I need to make the building like fatter. Nah, let's go back to what it was. He says like he remembers the number that was on. Oh dear, I've forgotten everything. I could just go back. Nope. Let's redo that. Okay, then maybe I'll cover something in the scan there. So, with it being 1 o'clock, that's about the time I have to disappear to get other things done. But what we have here, at the very least, is a base of what could be a pretty good scene. And when you add things like give it a physical sky, what time of day, it's going to be noir. Always happens at night, so let's call it yeah, 9 o'clock on a February evening. Well, if I change that to 19. I have figured out what's happening. I have figured out what's happening. I'm pushing buttons that I shouldn't be pushing. Because I use my number pad here to switch between scenes. And it works even if I'm not on OBS. We figured out the problem. The problem is me. Right. So yeah. A final one. Oh, bye Flash Train. That's my fault. I pushed a button that I shouldn't have. So can we give this a quick? I definitely need some more kind of like light in there. So let's stick. I wasn't going to quit. I pushed the wrong button. I figured out that I set up my number pad, part of the keyboard, to respond to the hotkeys. I forgot that I use it to type. So yeah, what we have here, just from that little bit, we've got a little bit of seam, got a little bit of shadow. I can mess around with an actual light maybe and put it around. I'm going to do this. I'm going to get this light going. Let's lift up. Yeah, we're going to get a light going, see what this looks like. Pardon me. I want to have let's use a temperature light. There we go. So I'm going to do this once, do a render, and then I'm going to say goodbye. So yeah, gives a rough idea. You can see the lines, you can see what it could potentially look like, but this is day one of getting this done. So, doing this properly now. Thank you for coming along. Thank you for being here, and thank you for putting up with my nonsense as I realise that I need to reconfigure my hotkeys. So yeah, this has been a little cover designing stream for a quiet Friday afternoon. Good anyway, at least 4 Batmans could have been made there. One of them will be, maybe, who knows. No, there's no Batman in this. That's definitely copyright infringement, and I don't have the lawyers to fight off DC. Nor would I want to, though. I think I could probably do a better job than they've been doing lately. Anyway, thank you for coming to Lightbite. I'll be back again next Friday, doing some more to this cover. I might do some of the more fiddly, boring bits in between to get it ready, and then we move on to like the photoshopping side of it and the sketching and the illustrating and make it look. The goal for this is it's going to look like a Frank Miller cover, because Frank Miller is amazing. I have one of his Batman comics, speaking of Batman, and it's great. I love the art style of 30 Days a Night, fantastic, and then of course Sin City is beautiful. But yes, thank you for coming. I've been Cennamo-Smith, author of fantasy, crime, and all things peculiar. If you like the stream, a like would go a long way. If you want to see more of this, a subscribe would also go a long way. I'm here every Friday. If in the meantime you want something fun to read, there is a series that is coming to an end in the that you can find below on my Patreon. The Rat King of London, which is a period thriller set beneath the streets of Victorian London in 1889. And then if you more crime fantasy, you want some mysterious, some little detective stories, there's currently 3 books and a 4th coming in a few months. You can find those linked down on my website. They're all available. Or if you do go to the Patreon and sign up for the final tier, you get all of my audiobooks included. Not audiobooks, all of my ebooks included, which not a bad deal. Anyway, thank you for coming. I've been Cennamo-Smith. Have a good day. Take care.